Now, yes, in IAS section of September 2025 of Vision IAS Monthly magazine, the first topic is related to SEO. See, Prime Minister recently visited Japan and China, and in China, he attended the SEO summit, which was organized in Tianjin. Okay, so this was a 25th SEO summit, and subsequently Tianjin Declaration was adopted. Now, next time, the Kyrgyzstan is going to be the chairperson. Apart from that, SEO development strategy was adopted. Now, there is one more thing. Laos has been admitted as the new partner. So now the expansion of SEO is going on. So simply more and more countries are joining SEO, and SEO has been granted the observer status in Commonwealth of Independent States. One more important development is that China has endorsed the idea of global governance initiative. In a very simple sense, a multilateral governance initiative which is endorsed by China. Right now, the governance model is dominated by West. So this is an alternative to that one. Apart from that, SEO members can now use China's Bidou navigation system, just like US have GPS. China's navigation system is Bidou. Russia's navigation system is GLONASS. Our own navigation system is Navik. That is IRNS. So that was about SEO. Now, during SEO summit, of course, India-China bilateral relationship was also highlighted. Understand, right now we have border dispute, we have trade related issues. So those issues were discussed. First issue is related to borders. Nothing new is happening there. Trade imbalance is there. That simply means we import much more than what we export to China, and there is a huge trade deficit. This year, it is expected to be around $100 billion. Trade deficit means we import more, export less. And then there are regional tensions. See, what is happening is China is trying to be too much friendly with the countries in our neighborhood. This is Bangladesh, this is Sri Lanka, this is Pakistan. So, and even in Nepal, the situation is more or less same. So that's why India is worried about it. And China follows the policy of string of pearls. In a very simple sense, China is trying to encircle India. In a counter to this, we follow the necklace of diamond policy. Apart from that, there are issues related to CPAC. What is CPAC? China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. So understand, the CPAC passes through J and K, which is illegally occupied. Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So India's argument is that it is our territory which is illegally occupied by Pakistan. How can China work in this area, which is our territory? It should have been, in a very simple sense, China should have requested our permission for that. That's why we are not supporting this CPAC project. Now, recently it was in news because it has been extended to Afghanistan also. So that is going to create even more complications. And then there is a water security related issues. See, the Brahmaputra river, which enters into India, China is constructing a dam on this river. So China will be able to control the flow of the water. And that's why we are worried about it. So these were some of the important issues. Now, in this context, just remember this phrase, dragon, elephant. Dragon refers to China, elephant refers to India. Okay, so these are some of the issues related to India and China. Again, nothing much is happening. Do not try to cover your static part through current affairs magazine. This is one mistake which most of the students commit. Please make sure that your static part is rock solid, and then current affairs is just supplementary information, one line here and there. That's it. Next is related to India-Japan partnership. As I had mentioned earlier, that Prime Minister visited Japan as well as China for SEO summit. So in that context, again, in case of India-Japan, nothing new is happening. Both countries are going to collaborate for the Chandrayaan-5 mission. That is going to be joint lunar. Lunar basically means moon, polar exploration. So the polar exploration of moon mission. For that, both countries are going to collaborate. Then there is a trade, roughly $22.5 billion. Again, understand the potential of the trade. With China, we have a trade of roughly $125 billion. With the Japan, it is roughly 25. It is not even 25. That itself shows that how significant the trade is with China. Then Japan and India, they both support each other for the permanent seat. G4 is a group of countries which demand the expansion of the United Nations Security Council. Both Japan and India are working together as a part of Asia Africa Growth Corridor. That means India and Japan, they are helping the countries of Africa in capacity building. Next is related to EU India agenda. See, remember two things. A, UK is not part of EU. That's why recently we have signed the trade agreement with UK. Apart from that, the TEPA was signed with four non-European Union members. So, with European countries, we have signed two different trade agreements. With EU, as of now, it has not been finalized. There are a lot of issues. We are negotiating them. One issue is related to dairy sector. That means opening our dairy sector. Another issue is related to data, free flow of data. So European countries want free flow of data. On the other hand, India says that no, data of Indians should be stored within India. This is basically referred as a data localization. We say that our data should be regulated by our rules and regulation, that is data sovereignty. So these are some of the issues. Now we are trying to negotiate the FTA. Again, nothing much is happening in this case. You can just read. These are basic information which is repeated every month. Next is related to India Israel. So recently Israel became the first OECD country. OECD basically refers to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So first OECD country with which we have new BIT. What is BIT? Bilateral Investment Treaty. Understand it this way: Israel is going to invest into India, and if there is a dispute, how that dispute will be resolved, what are the process that need to be followed. That is the basic purpose of bilateral investment treaty. Bilateral basically means between two countries. Investment treaty, so the objective is to facilitate the investment. So both countries are going to jointly produce the Barak 8 missile. Again, the trade is not that much considering the size of trade with other countries. For research and development, there is I4F fund. Okay, next is related to Singapore. Again, nothing much is happening here also. So recently we completed 60 years. Now, just remember one thing: India had a trade agreement with ASEAN, and that was a trade agreement, ASEAN India Trade in Goods Agreement. So as the name suggests, it focuses on the goods trade. The problem is that because of this trade agreement, there is huge imports into India. That simply means we provided too much concessions, and that's why there is a trade deficit. So now we are trying to renegotiate that trade agreement, and that's why it was in news. Rest everything is quite common. Next is related to Pakistan Saudi Arabia strategic mutual defense agreement. This focus on this keyword, mutual defense. What does that mean? This is Saudi Arabia, this is Pakistan. If anyone is going to attack either one, they both will come together in a very simple sense. That is the objective. So any aggression against one shall be treated as aggression against both. Now this is similar to Article 5. Again, I am saying similar to Article 5 of NATO. What does that say? NATO Article 5 says that there is a provision of collective security. That simply means attack on one shall be considered as attack on all members. So why Saudi Arabia has signed agreement with Pakistan? Understand, Pakistan have nuclear weapons, so Pakistan is going to provide the protection through its nuclear umbrella. Why Saudi Arabia need protection? See, previously US was the security provider in the West Asian region. Now US is shifting its focus to Indo-Pacific. That's why what is happening is that there is a kind of insecurity in the region. Recently, Israel also attacked the Hamas leader in Qatar. So what is happening is that there is a issue related to security, and that's why these countries are trying to diversify their security architecture. That simply means they are trying to focus on upgradation of their security architecture. Next is related to Palestinian state recognized by multiple nations. Again, just remember two things. A, there is a conflict between Israel and Palestine. India support the solution, that is two-state solution. That simply means both should coexist peacefully. So recently there was UN. Recently various countries recognized it. This was, I think, New York Declaration was there. India also supported this declaration. Now, understand, as far as recognition criteria is concerned, UN cannot recognize countries. Other countries will recognize the new members as per Montevideo Convention. So, a country should have a permanent population, territory, government, and it should have capacity to engage in diplomatic relationship. These are certain criteria for recognition of a country. India also supported this recognition. We always say that there should be a two-state solution. Two-state solution means both should uh, coexist peacefully. Next is related to new initiative for global AI governance. So this was announced by UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. So this was announced under Global Digital Compact (GDC). The two initiatives are announced. One is Independent International Scientific Panel on AI. As the name suggests, it is for risk analysis and it is independent panel. Risk analysis for what? Risk related to AI. Second is Global Dialogue on AI Governance. Again, the objective is to promote transparency in the governance and to share the best practices. So, this is a continuation of the existing provisions such as Pact for the Future and UNESCO's Ethics of AI framework. Next is related to Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Why it was in news? Because a recently UN inquiry report analyzed the actions of Israel in Gaza. Just remember, India is a signatory to this convention and the cases related to this are adjudicated by ICJ, which is a organ of United Nations. This is different from ICC, which has been set up as per Rome Statute. Now, recently ICC was in news because various countries have decided to withdraw from it. They are saying it is neo-colonial bias. What does that simply means? In a very simple sense, the organization is biased towards Western countries and it kind of promote new neo-colonial colonization. In a very simple sense, developed countries they are not punished and the poor and developing countries are punished. Again, it has been set up through Rome Statute. India, US, China, these countries are not the member. Headquarters is in The Hague in the Netherlands. Next is related to Scarborough Shoal. So actually it is a disputed region between China and Philippines. Now understand why it was in news recently, because China have recently developed the nature reserve. What does that mean? Let me give you a very simple example. Let's say this is your territory. Just a second. This is your territory. Now up to 200 nautical mile, it is going to be your EEZ, exclusive economic zone. What if you are going to set up something here, some artificial island here? So what will happen? Till 200 nautical miles, this area will be yours. And what if you set up something here? So what is happening is that China is building these artificial islands in the disputed areas just to say that they are part of their extended territory, and that's why there's a dispute between the between the countries in the South China Sea. So just remember this thing: Paracel Island, Skorberg, Seoul Island, and Spratly Island. These are disputed areas, and this is as per China's 9-dash line. They are part of China's territory. Next is related to Bagram Air Base. So understand it was air base in Afghanistan. Now US had control over it as long as they were in Afghanistan. In 2021, they left Afghanistan. Taliban took over. Now it seems that the vacuum which was created by the withdrawal of USA is being filled by China, and that's why US is worried, and that's why US want that airbase back. So these were the important issues related to IR section. Now, as far as the location of this airbase is concerned, this is Pakistan and this is the Bagram airbase. Okay. So with this, IR section is over. Now